this week, March 31st, is the Trans Day of Visibility. It's a day where we celebrate our trans siblings and help make their voices heard. And I couldn't think of anyone better to chat with today than Executive Director of GenderCool Project, Woot, Chase Glenn. Chase, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for the invitation to be here.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, how are you doing? This is where are we coming up on an anniversary for you of sorts?
Yeah. In May, I will have been with GenderCool for 1 year, which is exciting. And up here in the Chicagoland for I guess close to 9 months or 8 months now. Also, it's just it's been a whirlwind, but really wonderful. I feel like I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like we have almost survived the winter. Can I say that yet?
Not yet. No. Because we still have another spring of denial. It's off. Yeah, spring of denial. We got another winter of discontent that happens before we get our real spring. How are you holding up? Because you came up from down south. Was this your first Chicago winter? Because this was a doozy.
Yes, it was. I know everyone. I moved here from Charleston, South Carolina, and to a T, every single Chicago person I talked to when I moved here said, "Oh, you'll be fine. Winters aren't that cold anymore. It never snows anymore." And I was like, "Okay, great. We got this. And then it was like by the end of November, it was like record levels of snow. And I was like, "What? Thanks."
Well, if it's any consolation, this winter was still not as bad as they used to be, because that used to be relentless snow on the ground for like 3 months. Yeah. So that was a gradual break-in for you, Chase.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll take it.
All right.
Whatever I can take.
Well, we're glad that you are muscling through, my friend. Can you remind our listeners about the mission of GenderCool Project?
Yeah, absolutely. So GenderCool was founded almost 8 years ago now, I believe, and really with the purpose of telling the stories of trans and non-binary young people. And it was a movement that was inspired by trans and non-binary young people. And you had that little lead in there with Jen and Chazzy Grosshandler, and they were co-founders of GenderCool with Gara Goldstein and John Grosshandler. And Chazzy is really the inspiration, right? Chazzy is a young trans woman studying out in Arizona now and is like living this amazing life. And, her parents and Gara were all about like, we want to see more of this positive storytelling out in the world about how amazing trans kids are, because so often the narrative is not positive, right? And so that's what GenderCool's been all about, telling those stories, really just putting trans folks out there in a way that says, okay, we're just like, anyone else. And we're just here to live our lives and, get to know us. We're not that bad.
Speaking of those stories, Chase, is there a specific story from a young person that really resonated with you that you think about that you'd like to share?
Well, that's a great question. And I would say, for me, just very broadly, I have just been so inspired by all of the champions. And when I talk to particularly, and I feel very old and I'm 47, which, it's all a number, right? We'll just keep telling ourselves that. But when I talk to these young people and I hear their stories, and I hear, number one, their courage and their resilience and the joy that they have, and then just how they're living their lives, and they're just with like no fear in a lot of ways. That is just something that when I was a little kid growing up eons ago, that I just, it's like I didn't have access to that sort of sense of connection and courage and joy. And so much of that was about the visibility, right? Yeah. There just were not the visible examples of what it could be like to be a trans person who was thriving in life when I was a kid. I just didn't see that as much. So that is one of the amazing, just sort of magical things about our champions, that they are able to show that to the world. And so I'm inspired by all of them, and I can see myself sort of in little pieces of them. But it's a generation that is just like, just taking on the world in amazing ways.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. I can't believe that it's been 8 years, and then because we were lucky enough to chat with Gara and with Jen from the beginning, and to meet Chazzy, and actually one of my friend's kids, Evie, is a champion, and just to see like how these young people are now young adults. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like,
Happens fast.
but as you were saying, like one of the coolest things about GenderCool project is that it highlights these stories of these champions, of these incredible young people. And the least interesting thing about them is the fact that they're trans. It's like these are people who are just going forward and living life, and it has to be empowering to so many young and older folks.
Yeah, I think what you just touched on there is sort of as we're looking at GenderCool going into the next however many 8 years and beyond. We're thinking about the sort of evolution of our work and the fact that we've always had the trans and non-binary community and their families alongside in this work. They've been part of the audience that we've been touching all along. We've been always focused on changing hearts and minds, moving people along in this conversation. But there's always been the community here at the heart of the work that we've done. And for us, and I'm sure you'll give me a chance to share some about the work that we have going on this year. But we're really thinking about how can we build up our trans community, our non-binary young people who are in a moment right now. Let's just not sugarcoat it. This is a very difficult time for trans folks who are really under attack in a lot of ways. And a lot of our young people, and I'm, not to bring it all down, but a lot of our young people are really struggling too. And let's just keep it real. Sometimes just existing and putting one foot in front of the other day to day is an act of being a champion, right? Just keeping on. And so, some of the work that we're sort of evolving into is really about building up this community, supporting them and creating space for that work too.
Yeah. So, well, I couldn't think of a better time for you to launch into what are you doing?
Yeah.
What
I really teed that up for you, didn't I?
Yeah, I know. There we go.
Yeah. Well, one thing we're really excited about this year, it's a brand new program that we're launching here coming up very soon, is our Trans Youth Leadership Lab. And this is going to be an opportunity for 12 to 15 high school age trans or non-binary folks to apply to participate in basically a leadership development program. But it's not just a leadership development program in the broad sense, but it's really about helping young people connect to how they can be advocates for themselves, how they can be advocates for their community. And, some of the magic of what GenderCool has been all about are, our champions who are incredible storytellers who have been able to put themselves out there and really have the agency to advocate for themselves and for others. And, we've been able to do that work with our champions. And we were thinking, how can we help also support the broader community here? So we're piloting this program. There's going to be an application process that opens up May 1st and runs through June. And it's a relatively simple application, but we're going to identify 12 to 15 high schoolers across the country who want to participate in this program. They're going to be able to hear from some amazing speakers and thought leaders. We already have Raquel Willis locked in to join us. We have Aaron Reed. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that yet. And we're working on getting a number of folks to come in, speak, have conversations with these young people, also have some mentoring opportunities with our champions. It's going to be a really incredible program. And at the end, there's going to be a capstone project that these folks are going to work on throughout the program that's going to be an advocacy plan. They're going to create their own advocacy action plan for when they're done with this program, stepping out. How are they going to move forward in their advocacy? And it could just be their personal advocacy, or it could be something bigger within their school, their community, or beyond. And we just think it's going to be a really cool way for us to take what we've done in-house and sort of internally with our champions and begin to push that out in a more external way that we can engage with even more in the community.
As you're talking about what you're doing and the initiatives and what we're dealing with now in this administration, one of the things that Elon Musk did, as you know, was spend millions of dollars to run ads in swing states that vilified trans people and scared people. Wouldn't it be great if we could find some funding to get these stories told, to put the faces and the people behind and run ads of all these champions in these states and show people, because all they are is having fear put into them, how wonderful and how important these young lives are. I wish we could find somebody that would fund something like this, and it could be a PAC that would get the message out. Wouldn't that be
absolutely? Yeah, I
If you're
mean, let's
listening
think.
out
I mean,
there.
I know,
talk
right?
about. That's right. I'm sure they're listening right now, and they can reach out to
There you
GenderCool,
go.
and
A couple $1 million.
and we will work together and make that happen. But that's we're talking about Trans Day visibility, right? And that's what is still needed is
Yeah.
just that increased visibility so that people connect with trans folks and say, you know what, there are parts of us that are just like anyone else. There's also
Yes.
parts of us that are unique and we have a lived experience that's different. But there's also a lot of parts of us that are very much the same, and we
Absolutely.
can connect on that.
Yeah.
Oh, so with this mentorship, is it a mentorship program or I forget what the title?
We were saying leadership development.
Leadership
program,
development,
but
that's
it's
it.
Leadership Lab is
The
the
leadership
Trans
lab.
Youth
Thank you.
Leadership
My
Lab.
brain is still a little foggy from this cold. But with the leadership lab, do you are you partnering with any other agencies to help with this really important work?
Yeah, well, right now, we're just piloting it here sort of on our own. We have lots of great conversations and partners in the community, folks that are, providing input into things. And I can see how this would, we're just trying it out, to be honest. We're trying
Right.
to see how it goes. And, I can see how this will expand and there will be opportunity for us to even go, broader and deeper with this. But part of that is that, connecting with those leaders, those the people who are out in the community who are doing this work and bringing them in and having that connection. Because I
Yeah.
know, again, like as a kid, I didn't have anyone that I could look to and connect with, and this is going to be like a real opportunity for them to actually like face to face over Zoom, connect with this person, have conversation, and like what an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
To be able
And
to have
life saving.
seriously
Yeah.
life saving.
Yeah, as you were saying, especially, like right now, you've got, Kansas taking away driver's license. You've got a bill in Ohio that is now coming up for a vote in terms of like it's illegal to wear. It's like going back to the 80s of like wearing clothes that do not match your gender, your sex rather. You've got Idaho is making it a felony to use the wrong bathroom. It's like the attacks just keep coming, and I think that it is so important that we remind people that these attacks are coming, but also remind people that what you were saying, we've got more in common than we do different. Are you all? Is GenderCool Project? Are you all doing? Do you have a specific like event or a program to highlight the Transgender Day of Visibility, which happens on the 31st?
Yeah, well, we do have a program that's scheduled, and it's we actually have reached out to a number of our corporate sponsors, and we're providing this opportunity for what we call one of our virtual milestone events, and we're going to bring together. I think we have over 200 people registered right now in a virtual setting where we have our champions come in and they speak and they have the opportunity to interact with folks, and so that's our program. And I was going to say it's unfortunately it's a closed event for this particular opportunity, but I'll put another plug in there. If you would like to partner with our organization, we have opportunities like this throughout the year where if you're looking for ways that you can engage your teams, your employees in these conversations in a way that they can just log into a virtual format. That's one of the areas of work that we do, which is within that corporate sector and connecting these young people to people out there to say, you know what, again, it's just another sort of arena for these conversations.
If someone's listening that just wants to be more supportive, doesn't really know where to start, what would you tell them?
I'd say first go to gendercool.org, check us out on social media, connect with us. You could actually just send us an email at the info@gendercool.org address, and would love to, I'm not going to say that GenderCool is the answer to all things, right? There's so many amazing organizations out there and individuals who are doing incredible work. And I've always, throughout my career, thought of myself as a connector. I don't need to hold any sort of like proprietary information or, carve out some special place for me. So I'm always happy to help connect folks with other organizations and people who are doing this work. For me, it's just important for people to take that first step, if I want to be an ally, if I want to take action, like just take the first step and send a message, and I will do whatever I can to help connect folks.
Excellent.
But you want to be connected to our work, follow us on social media, make sure you sign up for our e-newsletter, that sort of things, and we'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah, and if you want to, I think this also might be I'm going to pat myself on the back for this one. I think a great way to just for something way to mark the day of Transgender Day of Visibility is to watch that incredible, was it ABC News?
Yes. Yeah.
That the ABC News special report that featured GenderCool Project and the GenderCool champions. You will really you will discover the heart and soul of this organization. And you'll be introduced to some incredible young people and some incredible parents. Where can folks find that? I'm blanking right now.
I know, and as you were, I actually was like, this is where a Jen Grosshandler can jump in so quick and say, I know it's on YouTube. I'll say that much.
It's on YouTube.
It's still on. It's on a streaming platform.
I believe it's on Hulu.
Okay, there you go. And I know from talking with some of the ABC executives last fall at a LGBTQ journalist event, they said it's still one of their most watched documentaries, streaming title. I mean, overall. It's it's a great program, and I'm
sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Our America, Hulu, yes, Hulu. Thank you. Our America.
Gio Benitez, I guess, sat down. I think you can go to the ABC website too and find it in their archives.
There you go. But it is
Our America, Who I'm Meant to Be.
Exactly.
It is outstanding, and I think it is a great way to to educate yourself on trans issues that you may not be aware of. Also a way to celebrate. And to get to know these incredible young people and this fabulous organization. Chase Glenn from GenderCool Project, thank you so much for taking time out today. Thank you for all the tireless work that you all do with GenderCool Project, and congratulations for surviving a Chicago winter.
Yeah.
That's right. We've done it. We've almost done it.
We've almost done it. We're almost there.
I am chomping at the bit to plant things. I need to plant things, Chase.
We can do it. We can do it.
We can do it.
Thank you so much.
And you're doing it. And if you want to, the door is always open for you for the Leadership Lab. If you want to come on and let us know how we can help spread the word about that, because it sounds like a tremendous opportunity. You are hitting all of my heartstrings as a former educator. So, so anything that we can do, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you so much. It was so great to speak with you guys today.
Thank you, Chase.
All right, Chase.